YouTube, this is Chaos Ripid, and this is another episode of Sudeki Grind Level Up, or it's the second episode actually. I'm hoping everybody's having a blessed, wonderful, fantastic day. I'm hoping everything in your day is going phenomenally well. But you know what? We know what we're about to do. We're not going to push the story any further. In the last episode, we kind of bounced around a bit, you know, trying to basically get a bunch of stuff, and like that's really all we did. Like really all we did. Let's see what's behind here. Hold on. Let me kind of look around. I didn't know it was back here necessarily. Oh, okay. Alright, cool. You know. Thought it might have been a little more special than that, you know. But it is what it is, and it's not part of the story, so what it is. But I'm hoping everybody's having a blessed, wonderful, fantastic day. I'm hoping everything in your day is going phenomenally awesome and soars above the clouds like Stratos. Elemental Hero Stratos. Wish they'd bring him back. I don't even know if this in Yu-Gi-Oh anymore. I hope it is. You know, because I missed that doggone card back in the day when I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh. But you know, things have changed now, so you know, it is what it is. Anyway, actually, you know what? I usually don't think of anything to talk about for the most part when it comes to stuff unless it's something serious. But you know what? What about this? I know a lot of people out there, once they become basically adults and they either live on their own or they're able to be on their own, they usually, you know, indulge in what they like to do. I'm not saying, you know, indulge in good and bad. I'm just saying they usually indulge in what they like. Okay, good, bad, or indifferent. That's just what happens. You know, if you have they say anything that you love, you'll put your treasure towards. So, you know, that's just kind of what it is. So when I say that, and I'm hoping not, like I said, I hope I'm not offending anybody of any way, form, or fashion when I say that. You'd be surprised how many folks actually do. And yes, I will be going like back and forth between here and the next place. So, yeah. But in saying that, if you're an adult or you're able to live on your own legally, you know, and you know, you are not doing anything that is harming your body and nothing illegal or messing with anyone's morals or anything like that, you know, I gotta make sure I cover that stuff, because man, look, shame I gotta be like that, but it is what it is. You know, let's just say you're an adult and you're living on your own. Let's go with that, and you just playing video games. And you know how, you know, let's be frank, you know, it's plain knowledge nowadays that women, not saying all women, because that's false, because you'd be surprised how many female players out there. The only reason they don't play the majority of the time is because they don't want to be bothered by guys being, you know, horrible people. But if they can get around people who can support them in what they're doing and not be horrible people, they're able to indulge and play video games, no problem. Okay, so I'm not hating on women as in that. I'm talking about the ladies who usually guys go for, the guys who want those ladies. The ladies that I'm talking about, or wait, let's make sure this is clear. Or
despite your title, princess,
the partners that you are going for, because you know not everybody's, you know, straight. You know, some people are LGBTQ, so you know, no hate. So we'll say it that way. Also, your partner, the partner you choose to be with, don't like video games. Can't believe I say all that, but the partner you like don't like video games, plain and simple, and does anything and everything to make your life a living, you know what, because you love video games. Okay. Video games, Yu-Gi-Oh, anime, I don't know, sports, things of that nature. You know, I I don't know, the Atlanta Housewives, you know what I'm saying? Like reality TV shows, you know, things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? Whatever your, you know, your thing is, as long as it's not, like I said, as long as it ain't hurting you, you know, morally, physically, you know, I won't even like do the whole gambling thing because I'm not into gambling. I'm not gambling at all. So I won't even, I'll say not gambling either because that can cause a problem. So, you know, ain't no kind of weird addictions or anything like that. But just like being a nerd, you know, the stuff that, you know, or watching TV or playing Yu-Gi-Oh cards or collecting baseball cards or things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? Just the most unpopular stuff. You know what I'm saying? The stuff that adults can do that is not the normal, you know, go to a place to, you know, get liquid refreshments and be an adult kind of thing. No, not that either. I'm not even gonna go there. Just being a, you know, I guess I have to be real specific. Being a nerd, you know, video games or Yu-Gi-Oh cards or Magic the Gathering or just being a, you know, Comic-Cons and stuff like that. You know, as long as it ain't done too much. You know, not yeah, and you can't afford it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's a shame I gotta go through like 6 minutes of just tectonics. But yeah, like you can't be an adult and just have a good time and just chill. Enjoy your hobby and be happy. Like I said, if it's not self-destructive, then it should be cool. But a lot of the time, you're unable to do that because your partner, because who you like, you chose that partner, pretty much hates every bit of that because it's either they say it's childish or it's, you know, or it's not for adults and all this. I'm like, understand if, now this might not be for everybody, but if you are able to enjoy your hobby and it's not self-destructive, I think that shit's covered. It's not hurting absolutely anyone of any kind. It is not damaging to yourself or anyone else. It is just for pure enjoyment, you know, and even a little kiddish. You know what I'm saying? Like only, you know, as in a, you know, like I said, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, heck, I could even say, you know what I'm saying, My Little Pony, which I've seen people actually get into that. Not my thing, but I ain't hating on it. You know what I'm saying? You know, or, you know, Marvel Comics or whatever. You know, that kind, what's considered to be nerdish or unpopular. You know what I'm saying? If you enjoy it, and you're an adult, right? You're an adult. You're enjoying it. Find somebody who enjoys what you like and call it a day. And if they, and I've seen this, if they destroy your property because, you know, you're not giving them attention, if they're, you know, deleting your game after you didn't put in years of work, if they, you know, destroy your stuff because they're not quote unquote getting attention or they try to, that'd be a good time to leave. Because just because what you're doing isn't popular doesn't mean it gives you the right to be irresponsible and be reckless and disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? I know, and I'm trying to be as politically correct as I can because it is not the easiest thing to do. But yeah, like you shouldn't be like that. Like I understand from a visual standpoint, people like who they like. I ain't hating on that. Do you? But understand, folks, if the person you're choosing to be with is that destructive, I don't care what they look like. I'm not saying you should leave, but you should have a conversation about respect. Plain and simple. It's a big conversation about respect. Because if respect is given, respect earned, right? If they respect you and yours, and you respect them and theirs, then it should be a problem. Plain, simple, and to the point. But when the respect is not there, it's kind of. Have a nice day. You deserve peace. And call it a day. Like, I know people right now who go to Comic-Cons and comic book conventions and things of that nature, and have a good time. Dress up and wear costumes and all that kind of stuff. And you know what? I'm not hating on them. Why? Because that stuff looks fun. Go for it. If you are over the age of 18 and you're able to somehow be legally able to afford it, you know what I'm saying? And you're responsible, go for it. Live your life. Truly live your life. If it was nerdy and let's be frank, people made your life a living, you know what? If they found out what you liked, and they do horrible things, guess what? When you leave high school, you ain't got to deal with them no more. You are not legally obligated to be around them anymore. In fact, most jobs, for the most part, put you around folks, just like school, around folks you don't really want to be around, but guess what? You ain't got to go home to them. You see what I'm saying? Like, all that, fighting, and anybody gonna be worried about that, because they worrying about working. They might not like what you like, but guess what? They don't pay your bills. So you go do you, have a good life, and call it a day. Simple, plain, to the point. You know what I'm saying? Enjoy life. Seriously, enjoy life. Enjoy life. Enjoy life for what it is. There's nothing wrong with it.
You can't resist my healing kiss.
Because you ain't got that long to be on this planet, and some things you're forced to deal with, and other things you're not. Don't let nobody take it really well. Seriously, live your life, enjoy life, and call it day. Seriously, man will, grown folks, enjoy your life. In fact, be a example of what a grown person supposed to be, and still enjoy their hobbies. Responsibly. Whew, yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry for the long, just trying to make sure I'm politically correct as best I can, but sometimes people just get offended, just be offended. So it is what it is. But even still, live your life. Life is too short to worry about bull. Plain and simple. It's way too short. And if once you get in a position where you are able to make your own decisions and live your own life, reverse engineer what you need to do and get to doing it. Take the responsibilities in your hands and do what you need to do. It sucks. Don't get me wrong. It really does. But do what you need to do. So, I mean, what is this? Let me see. Okay, so it does poison. Okay, and this one is... Okay. I had to make sure. But yeah, live your life. Be happy. It's okay. It's okay. Enjoy your life. Truly enjoy life. Because once you get to a certain point, you're not going to care. Trust me. you're not really gonna care. You just want to live your life, be who you want to be, and call it a day. And you know what? It's hard enough as is to just be yourself. And one, be able to afford to be yourself. Right? Let's see. Okay. And let's see. Okay. Yeah, you know, and to be yourself, and it's hard enough just to be you. It's hard enough. You know. And then you gotta try to dictate your life by somebody else's standards. I'm not saying you should be irresponsible. That I'm not saying. Please don't take that the wrong way. I am not saying you should be irresponsible or anything like that. You need to be responsible for your own stuff. Plain and simple. Okay? You know, if you're an adult, hey, be an adult. You know, do what you need to do. And it's hard. It is extremely hard. I won't lie to anybody. It is hard to be an adult. It sucks. Plain and simple. It sucks being an adult. Okay? But, you know, if you weigh the pros and cons, you are responsible. I'm making sure I say that clearly. You are responsible. And you can afford it. You're not overdoing it. It's not destroying your life. You can go for it. Live your life to the fullest. Live your life to the fullest. Okay? There is nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. Live your life to the fullest. You know, be yourself. Be able to wake up in the morning and be yourself. That is the biggest, like, that's a big thing. Be yourself. And be happy to be yourself. Trust me, it is a wonderful thing when you're able to be that. It is a wonderful thing to do that. Be yourself. Smile every day, even when life says you're not supposed to. Yes, you're gonna go through trials and tribulations. You might have to go through a divorce. You might have to go through losing friends and family members and things of that nature. And it sucks. I'm just being for real with you. It sucks. Sometimes you might have to you might have to go through this world alone for a little while. But trust me, the right people will come in your life. But you need to make sure you watch out for warning signs. Because what you like and what you need are two totally different things. And not need as in use up and destroy and all that. No. I'm not saying that at all. I mean, a good person in your life that is a positive in your life, not a negative. Okay? It's hard to find the good ones. It is hard. It is hard to find good people in your life. And trust me, you know, even though we're all not the same for the most part, you want to have good folks in your life. Hands down. You know, and but yeah, in saying that, be yourself. Be you. It's okay to be you. Nobody has to agree with you being you. You know what I'm saying? But stand 10 toes down on it and be yourself. Be yourself. It's a whole lot easier. Trust me, it is. It truly is. It's just easier. You know, You don't have to be a liar, a cheater, a deceiver, heartbreaker, and all this kind of mess. That's a song lyric too. But yeah, like, be yourself. It's just easier. It's just easier. Understand that. Oh, but understand there are consequences and repercussions for being good and being bad. Hopefully you choose to be good. But yeah, like, no, and I'm not trying to be religious. I'm just bringing up a story. Everybody understands the story of Job, right? You know, he was one, you know, one of the. I don't want to say it because I don't want to get in trouble. So I'll say it this way. He was one of the. He was a character. Say it that way. I don't want to get no trouble. Be surprised, but yeah, you don't want to get no trouble. But you know, everything was given to him. Everything, he was favored, and then, you know, two entities basically bet to say that, you know, I bet you, you know, one can turn them to one side and one can turn to another. And he said, well, how we do that? We take everything from him and see what happens. And, you know, the bad ones was like, yeah, you know, turn on our side. And the good ones like, you know what? He'll stay where he's at. But, you know, they made the agreement, and yeah, you know, they put him through a lot of horribleness. You know, it's the best way I can put it. Yeah, like, it's an understatement of the universe. He went through a lot. Okay? He went through a lot. I'm gonna go through here because I gotta get some armor and supplies. But yeah, he went through a lot. So after a while, it was like after everything they went through, after everything he went through, and the bad one took everything from him, family, friends, everything. When I say taken away, took everything away. Not the happy-go-lucky, you know, snatch. No, yeah, everything got snatched away from him. Health as well. Okay? Once that all was done, Job still was like, I'm still gonna stay under the good entity. And that's who he was. Plain and simple and to the point. You know? He stayed exactly who he was, and even if it was, and the folks who got taken away was like, you know, why don't you just switch up and curse, blah, 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 and all this. And he was like, nope, this is who I am. I told you who I was. I'm going to stick with who I am and calling it a day. There was a trial and tribulation, and they went through it. Came out on the other side 10 times as much more stuff. As in, you know, favor and things of that nature, you know. So yeah, I mean, he chose to be who he was, and that's it. 10 toes down, that's it. I'm not saying it was easy for him. It wasn't, but he chose to be himself. At least that's one of the characteristics. He chose to be himself, and that was it.
All right, kid.
Oh, I didn't do that. So, I'm not saying that, you know, if there's certain parts of you that you know aren't great, work on them. Because humans change. Okay? And I will say this personally. Men in general have a hard time changing. Hard time. We're habit-based creatures. I'm not saying women aren't. I am not saying that. I'm saying men are creatures of habit. We do the same thing over and over again. You know, good, bad, or indifferent. That's just the way it is a lot of times. I'm not saying that's the way it's supposed to be. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying creatures of habit. Okay? That's plainly it. Like I said, I'm not saying that's right or wrong, good or bad. I'm not here to judge. No kind of judging of any kind. I'm just saying, as for the men I've seen in my life, creatures of habit, extreme creatures of habit. Let me get to this one right quick. Let's see. Yes. Let me see something like that. Let me dial it back. Hold on. Oh, I didn't mean that. But, and like I said, I know ladies and people who stand in between or don't claim any kind of gender, you know, also are creatures of habit.
Alright, kids. Go.
And some of them may not be. Okay? I've seen it. I've seen it all. Why did I just do that? Trying to explain this best. But I'm just saying, from my experience, people who call themselves men, from what I've seen time and time again, why is the... Oh my goodness gracious. I hate trying to explain stuff and do stuff at the same time. Okay, I see it. But yeah, like when it comes to like trying to, when it comes to just stuff of habit, it just kind of plays out that way. You know what I'm saying? And they just do what comes naturally all the time. Like, you know, if they get up, eat, leave, boom. It kind of plays out that way. That's why like a lot of them become like carpenters or plumbers or trying to think of like construction workers or warehouse workers. You know, they do the same thing over and over and over again. You know, I'm not saying that women don't. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is that I've seen a lot of men who do the same job over and over again, and they're comfortable. They have the same routine over and over again until they're 80 years old. It's just kind of what it is. But if they're comfortable being that way, you know, then leave them be, right? Don't shame them. And if they play you, like, you know, but I do understand that eventually things do change. Okay, women are awesome at changing. Okay, I give women their props, and people who call themselves women, or they don't call themselves nothing at all. If you have that ability to change up and switch up and all that kind of stuff, I give you your props, hands down. While I'm struggling doing this, but yeah, it's, and I know it's different strokes for different folks, right? So, but yeah, like, let me see something right quick. Let me focus on this for 2 seconds. This is already at 7, right? By itself. Whoa, wait, with this? Oh, with the edge. So with the edge is already at, okay. So that means if, and I'll finish off what I was saying. I had to just check something, which that's okay. Okay, I can rock with that. So, but I don't have to do anything to add extra strength or whatever with this. So anyway, sorry. To end this, look, women change all the time because they want something different. Men usually don't, 90% of the time. And then whoever's in between all that, depending on where you sit at, that's your business, that's your life. I ain't mad at you. If you claim nothing, that's understandable. If you say you one or the other, that's up to you. But understand, be who you are. That's what I'm trying to get to. Be who you are and be comfortable in it. Wholeheartedly. Okay? Wholeheartedly. Be comfortable in it. Don't be ashamed of it. Don't be comfortable in your own skin. It's okay. And don't let nobody tell you any different. If the only time you should change is when you want to change. Okay? Point blank period. If you want to change, then go change. If you don't want to change, then don't worry about it. You know, but I will say something, and now this will be the last thing about change. Understand that if there's something bad about you that other people are telling you over and over again that you might need to adjust and change, do it. You know it's a bad thing about you, just do it. Put in the work, you know, and you ain't got to be like a humongous just start tweaking it little by little. Not tweak like, you know, the negative, like just change it up a little bit. Small changes do massive things. That's why when people work out, a lot of the times they work out little by little. Okay? Little by little they work out. Yeah, but little by little they work out. So in saying that, you know, little by little people work out. So in saying that, since change is a gradual thing a lot of the time. Some people can do it mentally, change, boom, call it day. Some people can't, some people can't. If you are able to do that, if you're able to actually do that, understand that not everybody has that same ability, but two, be blessed if you if not, understand, you know, you are who you are. If you are, make the change as quick as possible. Put in the work and call it a day. If you have a problem actually changing, like you need a process, you know, just take it little step by little step, right? See where you're making the mistakes at, and then start making changes, and be serious about it, and have somebody hold you accountable, you know, every time you start slipping back and forth. Okay, that way when the time is right and it's time to do right, you know, when it's time to make adjustments, you can make better adjustments maybe further on down the road, but as long as you chose to do better, be better, you know, because remember, serenity says accept the things that you cannot change, have the courage to change things that you can, and wisdom no different. Now, whether you're religious or not, you know, if you've ever had to deal with that kind of thing, you understand where I'm coming from when I say that. You know, it doesn't just go with people who have substance abuse problems. It's everybody. It's everything. If you apply it in that way, even if you want to make changes in your life, you can do it. Just take it one step at a time. One step at a time, one moment at a time. You know, accept pain as a path to peace, you know, and all that kind of good stuff. You know, I'm not going to finish the whole thing, but yeah, you know. Can I talk to you?
Ambush.
But yeah, you know, and I'm not, like I said, I know some people have a hard time changing. Some people do, some people don't. And like I said, I don't hate on nobody who's really trying to do their best, you know what I'm saying, that kind of thing. I don't hate on nobody. Trust me, I don't. You know, it's too much out here for everybody to succeed, and I want folks to succeed in life wholeheartedly. I'm not even joking when I say that. You know, but yeah, like, you see a problem, acknowledge it, and then do everything you can to start working towards being a better person. Understand you're gonna fall, you're gonna make mistakes, and be okay with those mistakes as long as you're willing to try your best to fix the mistakes. nobody's perfect. I'm sorry, nobody is. There's always going to be a flaw somewhere. So, you know, no, like I said, nobody's perfect. Nobody, you know, nobody has all the answers. But, you know, little by little, if you're willing to change, to be better, you know, to do better with your life, then, you know, go for it. And don't give up. It's an ongoing process. Alright, but you know, that's my rant for today. Yeah, I don't want to go too far into it because it's been like I've really kind of messed this episode up for the most part. But yeah, it was important enough to at least give an episode. You know what I'm saying? Because you know, it's one of those things where it never gets talked about, but it's needed. I'm hoping that it helps out at least somebody out there, you know, because I barely get views on these anyway. So anybody that I don't get that many views, but I don't care. You know, it's kind of like one of those things where I'm not really concerned about it because, like I said, and I'm not trying to be a purist of gaming, you know, whatever. You know, it's just the fact that nobody likes it, and I'm horrible at social media. Let's keep it a buck. You know what I'm saying? I'm horrible at social media, wholeheartedly. But yeah, like, be you. Be comfortable in your own skin, and I will add something to it. Be like steps. You know, have a base, and then build another step, and another step,
as many human women.
and another step.
Yes, I am learning from you, Pookie.
Because you're
I'm
building
no
and
Shitani
growing
warrior yet.
and becoming better, becoming the best person who you, the best part, the best. How can I say? The best version of yourself. So, you know, just an FYI. Yeah. Well, you know, it's just, you know, just a little something to help out. You know, so you know, it's you know, it's a work in progress. Trust me. You know, if you're a human being, everything's a work in progress because there's going to be something that you're not, you know, excellent at. So be okay with it. You know, so, you know, because not everybody's going to be perfect at everything. You're not. There's no such thing at being perfect at everything, because you're going to be flawed one way or another. You know, but you know, to each his own and all that good stuff. And you know, I'm hoping, like I said, I'm always hoping that everybody's have a blessed, wonderful, fantastic day. I always say that. That is my thing. Even if you're not religious, I'm hoping that you have a great day. Always. Because I know how it feels when you have a really horrible day. And it kicks you in the butt. Sideways. And it is usually relentless. So, but yo, this is Chaos Ripper signing out. Saying thank you. Have a blessed one, a fantastic day. Remember, be the best version of yourself. Learn and be better. Okay?